if we are not in our power, we're more easily manipulated by those who want to be in power. Human definition of power, right? Human definition of power. But back to your question about why is it not a good thing to be attached to something like intelligence? It's actually not necessarily a bad thing to be attached to something like intelligence. It all depends. For me, it can be a bad thing. And the reason why is because to me, it makes me feel more important. And likewise with an insecurity. Well, I used to be extremely shy when I was a kid. That was a false identity as well. I was terrified to speak up in class. I never said a word. I never raised my hand. God forbid someone actually hears me. But I still have questions to this day from second grade that have never been answered because I was too afraid to say them out loud because I was shy. And once you're shy, you have to stay that way. So in addition to liking limitations, we also like consistency. It makes us feel comfortable. So the first day I went to college, I realized I don't want to be that self anymore. And I had an opportunity, because if you create a break for yourself, and this is another thing that you can do for yourselves, if you feel that you're too caught up in the comfort of consistency and limitation, you create a break. You move to a new place. You make new friends. You start going to different types of events to hang out and meet people. And you can be a new person. You can be a new person that's closer to who you really are, not that person that you're used to presenting to other people. Anything that you can put on paper, anything that you can explain when you meet someone, that's not really who you are. Who you are has no words. How do you identify those things that are triggering you the most? Then how do you step out of that? Some people like meditation. Some people like martial arts. Some people like reading Eckhart Tolle. Whatever the thing is for you that helps you to connect to spirit, to who you really are. The more you immerse yourself in that experience, as Victoria pointed out, on that day-to-day basis, the easier it's going to be for you to recognize truth when you see it. The easier it's going to be for you to actually allow your true self to emerge more naturally in your day-to-day life, not just when you're reading that inspirational piece of truth, but when you're at your job typing an email to somebody. There are ways to find spiritual connection through those activities, through those day-to-day activities. And I think that's for me, that's what I like to do, is to come up with practical ways in your day-to-day life that can help you to see truth, even if you're not at home, studying it intentionally in a safe, sacred space, maybe with an altar. Judgment itself is not a useful tool, because if it were a useful tool, none of us would have unhealthy patterns. None of us would ever have any bad habits. We would know connection and oneness. We would all feel connection with divine mind, divine intelligence, and have full access to an infinite universe full of information. But it doesn't work that way, does it? How many of us get kind of pissed off when we see somebody being judgmental? Yeah. Do you judge them for being judgmental? They're bad, right? They're bad. So we're judging the judgmental people. So usually when we say judge, we kind of mean the negative thing, right? I'm judging someone as bad, or I'm judging an experience as bad. We don't usually think of judgment in the other way. And this actually realization really helped me to reconcile something that my entire life I've had these patterns of the halo effect. Does anyone know what the halo effect is? So for instance, you meet somebody. Could be a potential friend, potential lover, whatever, but just a potential connection with someone. And let's say you're attracted to this person. You really resonate with their energy. And you start to say, that person's good. I like that person. I like that person. They must be good. I was judging them as good. Discernment is the more neutral way of saying judgment, because discernment is all about what resonates with you, knowing that you have these limitations and these false identities. Because to operate in the practical world, we do have to have a little bit of connection to that person on paper, don't we? Because how else are we going to communicate with these limited words? We communicate through false identities. But as long as we are aware of that, and we hold the knowledge of the deeper self in parallel with that communication, with that representation, with that identification, then truth can actually surface more readily and be transmitted in that interaction.